Hello everybody, this is Dr. Novak again. This is one of these zero filters. They go to a zero water pitcher, and these are made to purify your water, and this is what it looks like internally. They have carbon, and then it goes through resin beads, as you can see here. And these resin beads are the same beads that I told you in my last video to buy, and I gave you who to buy it from, to make your Dick Boyd's ChemiPure your generic. Okay, instead of spending the ridiculous amount on Dick Boyd's, which seems to be going up in price every year, you could just make your own and it will do the same thing. But I just thought I would quickly show you that it's a food grade resin, and the more you use, the more likely your TDS will go down and make your water softer. Some people have very high TDS. This is one way of doing it, by making your own carbon, your own resin, your own GFO, and I show that in my other video. But here's an example of the same exact resin that I suggest that you use to make up your bag of carbon. That kind of is like a generic Dick Boyd's, and it works. Right now I'm using one in my aquarium and it works great. Absolutely perfect, just as good as any Dick Boyd's does. But the real reason this video is here is to show you this. I had to take my BCB basket from my ADA canister filter, and I had to cut it down about 1.5 inches so I could put the Dick Boyd basket, not basket, but the bag on top of it. Okay, and what I wanted to show you, and that's why I took this film, is this is 6 inches thick, and the kitty litter that's in there, even though it's not the real hard baked kind, because this is from Walmart, apparently they changed their vendor. Look how nice it looks. It had no smell, no hydrogen sulfide, no methane, nothing. It was like I just made it today and just wetted it down. And I wanted to show you this because it's been over 2 months now that this basket has been made. And this is why I say it doesn't clog, because of the fact that you're not forcing water through the basket. It's going around it to attract ions. And the thing about it is, a lot of your substrates today that are being made by manufacturers, they will make the same claim that their substrates will attract ions out of the water, like positive ions out of the water, and to bring in those ions to your root system. And that was one reason I talk in my videos about a plenum, or a moving plenum, one that moves very slowly, is because if you take your substrate and pull it off the bottom, you will have a higher redox, and you will not have the blackening of the soil, because water will be moving in and out of the substrate very, very slowly. You will make, at the very top and stuff, aerobic conditions, but as the substrate goes deeper and deeper, it will become anoxic. And of course, underneath that, into your plenum, where you have the void, that will hold a higher redox than if you just put your substrate directly on the bottom of the aquarium. Okay, now, long time ago, and many old timers will tell you the same thing, we would set up a tank. We had an under gravel filter. Those tanks should be set up for 10, 20 years and never have to be broken down. And that was the good thing about the under gravel, is it kept oxygenated water going through the substrate all the time. And about the 40s and 50s and 60s, the water used to move very slowly through the substrate, but of course manufacturers changed that, where water started moving faster and faster, and you couldn't grow plants in it because it was moving too fast. But today, if you make a plenum and you put it at the bottom of the tank. This will allow chemical and biological pathways to remain open. As I have explained in my other videos, that once you put your substrate at the bottom of the tank, you stop that from happening, and eventually it will collapse. You know, I know there's going to be people out there who say, oh, I've had a tank set up with 3-4 inches of substrate for years. You know, they're the exception to the rule. They're not the rule. Because if you go on forums or anything, you're always going to read about somebody that had their tank set up, and within a matter of time, could take a year, could take a little longer, they've had to tear their tanks down because all of a sudden everything was going fine, and then all of a sudden, boom, everything goes sour, and they don't know why. And they're on the forums asking, hey, what happened to my tank? It's been running perfect for the past year, year and a half, and all of a sudden now, you know, I got string algae, hair algae, cyanobacteria. What's happening? Well, that's what's happening, is because those pathways are blocked, and the roots to the plants can only do so much. Plants get old, they get tired. If you watch videos, you can see that some plants will do real good for quite a while. Then all of a sudden they just kind of peter out on you, and they need to be replaced. It's just like terrestrial plants, right? They don't last forever. Trees don't last forever. You plant a plant in the ground, a bush or something, they don't last forever. Eventually, you know, they have a lifespan, and they may wind up dying on you. Same thing with our aquatic plants. They have a life expectancy, and you can only expect so much out of them, and then all of a sudden they get tired, and that's it. So as they're not bringing water into the substrate like you would like them to, by making the plenum, you allow these pathways to remain open. The next thing is, because you have anoxic conditions, you're able to take care of nitrates and phosphates, and bring your phosphates down and your nitrates down. Now, bring them down to 5 parts per million or less for nitrates, and of course your phosphates, it will bring them down. But with a little help, you can bring that down. Like my phosphates are now 0.1. My tank's doing great. I added in that Dick Boyd's ChemiPure basket that I kind of make, and everything looks pristine. The water is crystal clear. So I won't have to break down my tank, because I've done this before, for 10, 20 years. You know, the most you'll have to do is, you want to pull things out, is get a gravel washer and clean your gravel. That's it. You'll never have to ever break down your tank. It doesn't go bad on you. And here's proof right here. This is 6 inches thick. And look at it. No blackening, no smell, no nothing. It's open. I thought I would show you this so all of you could see that still ions and oxygen are able to get into the basket and make anoxic conditions, but it won't allow it to go anaerobic. And this is what you want in your aquarium. Whether you use kitty litter or not, you want to make that plenum so the pathways remain open, and you'll be pulling stuff out of the water column like nutrients to the root system of your plants to help your plants grow. And you'll probably going to find out you're not going to use as much fertilizers in your substrate, because of the biological chemical pathways remain open. I just thought I would tell you. Anyhow, until next time, I hope all your tanks are doing great, and I'm still waiting for my aquarium to come in so I can show you exactly how to do everything from start to finish.